Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fashion Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith, and I'm here as always with Marcy Carmack. We have a special guest today. We have Ray Tareghian from Burberry fame, and this is our episode 2 of Ray, the Ray story. Ray is going to take us on a time travel of Burberry design from 1910 until 2020, and I'll turn this over to Marcy, who can introduce our guest further and set Ray in motion on this amazing journey. Thank you.
Well, we're so excited to have you, Ray. You want me to start with this first slide?
Yes, if you can, the drawings, yeah.
And you're seeing it, Ray? You're seeing it?
Not yet, I haven't seen them yet.
But you can see it on the share, right?
I can't see it right now.
Can't see it. Yeah, I think you need to click on screen share first, Marcy. See, that was a little bit of a, you need to click on screen share and then find the, we just love navigating Zoom. Can you see it now, Ray, on the screen share?
Not yet, not yet.
Not yet.
Takes a second.
It does take a second?
It usually takes a few seconds to come when you do it.
I know, but we're in fashion, Ray. We don't like to wait around. We like things to happen.
Okay, well, it hasn't come yet.
Are you seeing it yet?
No. Oh, okay, something's happening. Hang on. Okay. Okay, yes. Now, okay, okay, I got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's take a
So
look.
we're on the right and the advertising's on the left there. Okay, and then large.
Are you seeing it now?
Yes, I have it right now. So you can take it up just a fraction.
You want it to be larger?
Yeah, not larger, just so I can see. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Just by that.
Do you think the viewers can see it? Because we're not seeing the full page. Do you think the...
I see the whole page, and then I see it small on the left, and then I see you guys on the right.
Okay, terrific. I think we're in business for
Yeah.
ourselves and anybody who's watching. So why don't you walk us through this?
Okay. So as I was saying a couple of weeks ago, Burberry invented a trench coat, and this is advertising from 1910. The military guy on the right there, he has the trench coat on, and as you can see, at that time, there was no photographs for advertising. Everything was drawn by hand. You can see both of those advertising. One's from the 20s, the two ladies. Actually, it looks like Marcy styling someone. She's come to our house and she's styling the mistress of the house. But yeah, you can see, and everything was done was drawn at that time. And on the right, you can see the Burberry logo on the bottom there. That was Thomas Burberry designed that. That was equestrian horse, the knight.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And yeah, and that's where Porsum comes from. Porsum means forward, and that was used later on in the 20th century by designers. But first, it was designed by Thomas Burberry, and it was in 1901. That looks like, and then in 1909. He registered it, so Burberry had it. So as you can see how everything was advertised. He did the two ladies actually. She's trying on a ski outfit, so he made a lot of sports outfits and military. So we had departments for both at Burberry, and
so it was very practical, a little bit more on the practical side than fashion side.
Yes, very, very practical. Like I said, we were a very big outerwear company, and a lot of even things like blankets were very big at that time, shawls, blankets, and so on. But a lot of sporting, fishing, skiing, hunting, all of those kinds of things. And then going up to the next photograph, it looks like this one is more of the Art Deco period. Looks like around 1920s to 30.
I love that. Wow.
Absolutely beautiful Art Deco. And then Burberry had its own aeroplane too. It said Burberry on the side.
You're kidding.
It's not this one. This says Atlantic, but the Burberry plane, the archives were looking for it for years. They can't find it. I don't think it must have got destroyed over the years. But there was a plane, and one of the captains from London to Cape Town, South Africa. He flew. So that's the kind of stuff that Thomas Burberry used to do. A lot of things like that.
And Ray, we're seeing a little bit more fashionable here. You know, I guess I thought it was
1930s, 20s, 30s Art Deco. That was one of the high. I thought the fashion was really fantastic. All, you know, going from fashion, art, architecture. You see all those beautiful buildings in New York from the 30s. Those are all the same period as this.
But I guess I didn't realize that the check was used as an outerwear design on the outside.
It's not the Burberry check, that one, but it's different checks and different. That one's really, it's bigger, so it's more like a plaid than a check that she's wearing. But you could see all the outfits; those are all outerwear that Burberry sold at that period. Tweeds, heavy woolens, and so on and so on. Then you have, and again, drawn, it wasn't pictured. And then you have another one there on the left with the gentleman and the lady, both in heavy coats. You could see the, you know, accessories. At that time, they even, you know, the shoes, hats, everything was made by Burberry. Their gloves, it wasn't sent out. It was made by Burberry. And then you got the guy with a tweed coat. A little later, he's wearing like a Sherlock Holmes kind of thing. He's got his.
Is that a Harris tweed?
Yeah, it's like a Harris tweed, heavy tweed with what that hat's called, a deer stalker. It has the two ends on it, you know, it's Sherlock.
Deer stalker?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I got to write that down, Ray.
In that same period.
I got to write that down.
Yeah, the deer stalker is the hat where it has 2 points. And there's one that Sherlock Holmes, you've seen the movie or the series, that's what he wears.
Ray, I don't think there's anything politically correct about the name Deer Stalker, just so you know. We'll have to work on that.
Okay. All right. And then the next photograph. So as you see now, we got color photographs, and it's from the 40s and 50s. This is really the 40s, I think, is on the left, and the 50s on the left. Sorry, on the right and the left. And you see that beautiful Harris tweed that the lady is wearing, 3-piece, cape, jacket, skirt, all matching. They used to make a lot of things like that, where you have a women's either a pantsuit or a skirt suit, and then with a cape, same fabric to match. So you had the whole outfit. And in the men's, it could have a 3 or 4. Actually, it could be a 5-piece for men, because you have a suit, you have a waistcoat, a top coat, all in the same plaid, tweed, or whatever the fabric was at that time. But you can see a little bit more fashionable. The lady who has the hat, she has a deer stalker on too, the sort of soft pink raincoat there. And then they've actually pulled the belt in. All the earlier ones you saw, they were very loose and wide, but now the fashion has come where they've actually pulled that belt right in there. And then the men's right next to it, it's really, really, that's not a trench coat. That's what we called that at that time, was a Piccadilly raincoat. It was a single-breasted. The only thing you call a trench coat is a double-breasted raincoat. No other raincoat is a trench coat. If it's single-breasted, it's not a trench coat. Trench coat is double-breasted. Just let people know. Sometimes I see advertisements now, companies put trench coat, and it's not a trench coat. It's just a regular raincoat. Okay, so that's 1950s advertisement. And then again, you got on the left there, 1950s again. Looks like in front of the Buckingham Palace with the horse guards coming out. And that time you had the royal warrants there above their head. That's, if you sold to the royal household, you would get a warrant like that. You see them on some buildings in London, Harrods or Burberry's, or well-known companies. It either from the Queen or from Prince Charles, which will be from her husband. Each of them have their own warrants. So that one looks like from 1952, must have been the Queen. And then we come over to the right-hand side. That's from late 60s, 70s. And that the gentleman who's wearing that single-breasted raincoat there, and he has the umbrella, that actually is the photographer for that photograph. That is, you can put it in your list, that's Lord Lichfield, the cousin of the Queen of England. He was a top, at that time, he was a top photographer for advertising. Of course, he would do Burberry because that's, we sold to the royal family. And he was in a lot of his own photographs. So he was our photographer. He was our photographer at that time.
How could he be in the photograph?
Well, he had, I take it, but he was in the photograph. But
it was a very slow exposure.
He took photographs of, I'll show you later on, of other models, but that's Lord Lichfield. Also, at that time, we had, just before him, Lord Snowdon. He was a photographer. He did photographs for Burberry in the 50s, just before Lord Lichfield. And that was the husband of Margaret, I don't know if you know that.
Yes.
Queen's sister, Lord Snowdon, he was a photographer. He did some fashion, but mostly it was other, he traveled around the world taking photographs, but he did do some Burberry ads too. So that's that. Next, okay. These two are both done by Lord Lichfield because these are around in the 70s. You see how that skirt, the Burberry check skirt, is so long, it's below the knee. That was the style at the time. So it's a very, very long skirt. And then you have the luggage on the side there and so on. But that's Lord Lichfield took these, and it was always used with something. You got a Jaguar car there, and so on.
Now,
go ahead.
Ray, I thought the Burberry S was taken off later, but it's
Yes, Burberry S is taken off later, but here they're saying the Burberry look, so you can't say the Burberry's look. It doesn't sound right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They're using it as a phrase.
Yeah, it's a phrase. You can't say Burberry's look. It has to be the Burberry look. So they did do that phrasing with advertisement, it shows. But yeah, it was taken away in 97 at the S. And that's over all our stores and all our merchandise today. But I'm sure in advertisement, they still have to sometimes phrase it like that. The picture on the right, again, that one's the same period. And you see it's all the same. The length of the raincoats are longer. And also by being long, it actually covers the ladies' skirts, which were long too at that time. So that you didn't want to have the skirt coming below the raincoat. And that's what I had to do in the windows in the 70s in London, because sometimes we had to pin the skirt high so it didn't come below the raincoat.
That's a fabulous ad campaign.
Then on your right there, that ad campaign is still, that one is still Lord Lichfield. And you see the suit done by us, nice suit. And then you see another new, at that period, I remember that's a new check that we brought out at that time. And when we brought out a check, we actually did it in skirts, in the linings of coats, cashmere scarf that a gentleman has. He could have had a tie in that. The lady has a silk square and a handbag. Everything was done in that check. So, and that was a new check for that, maybe 1970, whatever, 3, 4.
And that's the one you still use today, isn't it?
No, this is a one-off again. No, the one we use today is the one on the left.
See, if I was at a quiz show, I would think this is the Burberry check.
Yes, this is the one on the left is the Burberry check. He has an umbrella, and that's the one we use now.
Oh,
like I said, the one on the right we brought out that year. They still have it in the archives because they still bring it out once in a while and make cashmere scarves and those things. Okay. It's always in the archives. And the one on, like I say, the one on the left there is a little bit later. I think it's around coming up to 1980. You can see the fashion changes a little bit. They're not. The raincoats are done up nicely, and they just made them a little bit more fashionable or preppy, I think, for that time. All right, so let's see what we have next. All right, so this is 98 to 2000, something like that, where we started with Kate Moss. Actually, that photograph on the right with Kate Moss, that's done in last year. It was her birthday, and I think Burberry did a ad for her, and she's wearing all check because we've used her since she was a kid. So they every year they've used her. So for her birthday, they must have done that special. And you see the one on the left there. He has that's the Burberry check there. It's like a robe or raincoat, you could call it, but
Wide
it's
sleeve.
it's again, it's very fashionable. But that's the traditional check. They call that the Haymarket check, named after the store in London, the Haymarket store, which was Thomas Burberry's first store, which we talked about yesterday, Marcy. So they take names from different streets in London or buildings and so on. That's where all the names come from for all these checks, and that was called the Haymarket check. All right, so
I had a pink check dress. I'm trying to remember when it was, in the 90s, I think. So it was a light pink and the check was light.
Yeah. Nova check was the very light beige, sort of. But then we had that sort of pinkish check that you're talking about, a little bit soft and pink. And I can't remember the name of that one, but it'll come to me. Mm-hmm. So again, you have this is a later picture with Elton John wearing porcelain completely. So that's what Burberry jumped to suddenly in the 2000s. But if I could go up a little bit more,
up a little bit more.
Yeah, one more picture. I just want to show
this one, or
this one. This is when we started again. This is when Christopher Bailey started. So 2001. He came in, and this is the Nova check you're talking about.
That's Kate there on the left.
This is what I'm wearing now, Nova check sweater. It's a lighter. It's not camel underneath. It's sort of beige, and that's what that one is. And that's where Kate Moss started. They tried to do all these funny scenes in the actual stores. This was done in one of our stores, and you saw everything was checked out at that time. Everything was check. And when people wear too much check, it wasn't good.
I love the turban.
You wear one or two pieces, that's fine, but not all complete check. They even got you see that.
I love that.
The Indian salesman.
Yes.
They even made for that gentleman his what do they call that? Turban, yeah, his turbans is in Nova check.
I love it.
Yeah, so he can. Actually, in England, some of the Indian workers, from India, if they're in the street and they're a parking attendant, they wear yellow turbans made from. So they make the colors of the turbans to match those same outfits that they have for their jobs. And this was one for Burberry, so it has a Nova check one on. So let's go down to the next one. Okay, so that's from 1986. They were married in 81, and kids looked like they're about 5 and 6, maybe 87. And again, all of those, that's the more traditional of that time. And I think Prince Charles's suit was from us. That's why I put that one.
Is this a Litchfield photo?
No, this one, 80, yeah, it could have been. I'm not sure. It could have been. He finished with us around 90s. Yeah, it was Lord Litchfield's photo.
I remember this when this was in the magazines, and I really thought it was such a lovely, lovely photograph because it was, it was styled and posed like a Gainsborough painting.
Exactly. That's what he looks like. That's what he tried to. I'm sure that's what he tried to do because I have that same sort of image in the paintings. You're right.
Really lovely.
And Diana brings your eye right in.
Right.
She's posed very nicely, very kind of un-Diana-like in a way.
Exactly.
Very pretty.
And she's in a riding breeches, boots and jacket. But
not to dwell on Diana, but I find that provocative because I don't think of her as a retiring character, but she's in a retiring pose. It was a lovely, lovely composition.
Yeah, I actually, when we opened our Boston store, I actually met them because they came to open that store for us in when was that?
Wow, that was really nice.
93 or 4. No, hang on, sorry, 83 or 4. 1983 or 1984, sometime like that. They both came to open our store. So I shook their hands and they went in. You know how you stand in a line but they came and opened our Boston store. That's another big flagship store there on Newbury Street in Boston. Again, that was a street store, beautiful store. And they both had, of course, their new Burberry raincoats that were made at that time for them.
Ray, I did find this check.
Yeah, this was her. This was her. What we say, her clan. So
this is the Spencers.
What's that?
This is the Spencer clan.
Yeah, this is her. This is Spencer clan. It says on there Princess of Wales on that ticket. So on that Diana, and I can't see any more tartan. But yeah, this would have been their clan, their check, the prince, and Burberry made a special one, of course, for them, and they put her name in there and all the information. Made in Scotland.
I have a question that maybe the viewers might want to know is, can you explain the difference between plaid and check?
Okay, so a plaid and a tartan are really both the same. Tartan is really the fabric, and you wear it, and that's made for kilts and that kind of thing. Plaid is made for, it's the bigger check that they actually drape on their shoulders like a wrap or that kind of stuff. That's what that plaid is. Plaid is that. The check that they put on you see the Scottish or the women, whatever, they wear that like a shawl or long fabric on the shoulders. That's the plaid. That was always called the plaid. Mm-hmm. And then the tartan is that. Check is completely different from all of that because plaid is big squares, and this check, it's one small check, it's one small square, and it's just in diagonal lines. But when you get a plaid, it's in big bold check, big bold squares, and that's what they wear. The British, and it's the same, British call it Burberry check, Americans call it Burberry plaid. We don't understand why. That's that. Over there, Europe, and there it was always a check. When we got over here, people call it plaid, and we try to say to them, no, Burberry check. So anyone that comes into so that's the difference. North America really, they always call it a plaid, which we didn't understand. And that's the difference. To me, a tartan is actually the fabric. You see all those colors, and a plaid is, those are the two different things. But the Burberry check, like I said, it's just one small check, and it's just all the time the same. But in a plaid, it goes big and small squares, and that's the difference. But if you go in a dictionary, it'll tell you 5 different things about plaid, check, and tartan.
We take it from you, Ray.
Yeah, but like I say, that's what it is. In England, UK, it's a check. Over here, they call it a plaid.
So it's kind of like one small check for man, but one giant plaid for mankind.
It's just like any words that they use, different words too, you know. You say aluminum, we say aluminium. That's the different names. Aluminium, that's the real name for it. You guys call it aluminum.
Right, so, that's like the song about the tomato.
Exactly, all those things. Yeah. So that scarf was made for her by Burberry, and then her name, and then you got Prince of Wales there. So we had the Prince of Wales warrant because we sold, Prince Charles, and of course Diana wore our pieces, and so on and so on. But that's I'm glad you found that one. I haven't seen that for years, that one. All right, so the next photograph, we come down. I just wanted to show this young lady on the right there. she's wearing they must have gone into archives and got this piece of this merchandise. It looks like one of those overalls that they wore, that military wore, like they during the 40s and 50s, during the 40s, during the war. And all they really did to this, to make it fashionable to me, is they sent around the waist, they cinched it, and they put straps around the sleeves where they could push that sleeve up like a raincoat.
Oh, I see.
They've got the little strap there and it pushes it up. They've got the two lapels, but usually that kind of thing could have come right out of our archives, and they just tweaked it, cinched it like they have there.
So, Ray, this is an example of making something fashionable through styling. It's a styling trick.
Styling, which I will show you the raincoat in a few minutes. And this is an ad that's in the magazine today. This has just come out. It says Burberry Her. Her means the new perfume, the name of the perfume. So that little bottle, pink bottle, just came out this week, and that's ad is brand new. So I just wanted to show they go in the archives and they bring out pieces.
Cool.
So the Kate Moss, again, going across here, this was when she first started with us. So you saw the photographs of the.
Which one are we at, Ray? Are we at the centerfold? Where are we?
That's the one, yeah, centerfold. So this was very erotic at that time, they were saying, because she, more sexy looking for Burberry. And the you saw the raincoats, how they were worn in the 80s, 70s, and 90s. They were very, very square looking. But this young model is wearing it and very sexy. And you can now, Burberry trench coat is fashionable again.
Yeah.
And it could have been the different lengths and so on, but that's why they use Kate Moss to bring that back. And that's again from when Christopher Bailey started, 2001.
You can be sexy being covered up.
Yeah, well, her leg like that and whatever. It was from where we were to that was very sexy. All right, so you have pictures of here now. This is now. So this is now from Riccardo Ticci. He's made again different checks here for it looks like for the Asian market. And right now the number one business is Asian market. So you're going to see a lot of ads like this. But again, new checks, and you see all the craziness in the caps and so on. Yeah. Same as all the other designers, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, they all do crazy kind of outfits now. So that's what that is. If you go back actually up again, there's another photograph. Go back to, I'll show you. Oh, stop slowly.
Here?
No, I don't see it. There's the three ladies who are wearing the Burberry. No, it must be lower down.
Not this?
No, go back. Come. I don't see it now. Keep going. No, I don't see it. Anyway, that's okay. No,
was it modern or old?
No, it's a modern one with the three Asian ladies wearing those tight Burberry outfits. That's okay. I just want to go actually up to number 14 again. Go back. No, one more. Go up a little. Number 12. Yeah, you see the lady there with the baby. Oh, yes. That was overdone. You see, and that was more like a
caricature.
That was more like a joke. But
right, the 80s were overdone. That was the whole point.
Yeah, overdone. You have the babies. Yeah.
The baby was an accessory, Ray.
Yeah, and then you have the kill, the bag. She could have actually had the tights and the cap on too. It would have been a bit much. But that's Novacek. Yeah, around 2001, 2002, that came out. So they really pushed it. So that's for that period. So we'll go back to the ending here. And again, I just wanted to show me, so I did actually work there. This one on the left was my last few weeks at Burberry. This was middle of 2018. As you saw those, I was block coloring all the new colors that were coming out at that time. and you could see really strong colors. And the raincoats on our left were plastic with the pink and camel there, but all the colors were block colors. And then on the right, of course, it was our Pawsome in the window, and with some of the young new models again that were pushing Burberry.
And Ray, you're going to show us a couple of.
Yeah, I'll just show you a couple of outfits quickly, and then tonight we can go over it a little bit more if people want to ask questions.
Sure.
And again, 2018 in that store where I am now, it's now completely changed. Like I told you now, it's all curtains everywhere. You don't see any more pictures, walls, or anything. No furniture like that. Too heavy. It's all redone, the whole store.
Interesting.
All right.
Okay,
So
Ray's
let me just show you. So
show us a couple of things
All
here
right,
in real
so-
life.
So here we have a traditional raincoat, a vintage one, so from the 70s.
There isn't any plaid.
No, there is plaid, but this one,
Check.
they used.
Oh, there you go.
And you see the plaid?
It's got a liner. It's got a lining in it.
It has a cashmere liner, and I didn't want to have plaid over plaid. It don't make sense to me. So I had the plaid inside. You see that beautiful blue plaid.
Yeah,
But then you have the
beautiful.
wool cashmere liner. And I'll just tell you something. These collars that you have here, this was only made for the US. Nobody in England wears a wool collar. Wool collars, because it's so cold here. When we got to Chicago, people were asking for us, could we have this? So this was made
Interesting.
for Chicago, and then now it's everywhere for the US.
Like it's the Outback here.
Nobody will wear that like that. And these are buttoned in, as you can see, buttons in and out. It comes right out. In England, you wear it like that. I had never seen this till I got to the US. Something we made just for Chicago and the US. So this is the traditional raincoat. It says on there, as you can see, Burberry's. And this one is a zip out lining. It zips in and out. And then this is see how big. And then see how big they were, how loose they were. See this?
Yes.
This is a small, but see how big it is on me. And this is
That was
this is
style.
a small raincoat. And of course you wear it, double-breasted trench. This one is 100% cotton. It's not the poly cotton. And then over here we had to teach customers, you do this and you don't wear it and a knot like that. So that's how you wear a Burberry raincoat, with a knot like this. I had to show people in the US that they always tied it a normal way, the belt buckle. So we had to show them this. So see how big that is.
Well, and why is that, Ray? Was that what utility or purpose did that serve?
That was
Style.
nobody wanted tight raincoats. Nobody wanted fitted raincoats for men. Men wanted loose coats so they could wear their suits underneath or whatever that. But men didn't want. There was no fitted raincoats. Even for the ladies, it took a long time. But this was the men's.
What year is that from, Ray?
What's that?
What year is that from?
This is from the 70s, say 70,
Oh, wow.
7, 8, but from a 70 period. And look how nice it's lasted.
Beautiful condition.
Beautiful condition. It's a nice cut, And the good thing is with Burberry is every time 10 years, all I do is I take it to a tailor and take it in 1/4 of an inch, and it's brand new again. The sleeve taken up. It's so big it doesn't show. And with Burberry, it's good because you can order these straps again.
Ray, that's a nice hack.
You can order these. You can order a belt if you lose it. That kind of stuff. So we have our tailoring department, which you can take up there, and if you lose a button, they'll put it on for you. They have all those things, and they will order the belt for you, so you get a brand new belt. But
Ray, you can take your trench to Burberry, and you can have that 1/4 of an inch turned up.
Yes.
By them.
They will charge you, of course, but we have our tailors there that will do that. They will take it 1/4 of an inch there, so you don't see the dirt line and and also from the bottom too, if you want it, they could take it up a little bit again. So it becomes a brand new coat because everything is done again. But that's, see this hole here is because you can put your hand through right through the coat. That's that one. And then this is from a completely different check now. So this is from
Wow, look at the logo.
2018. It says Burberry large, has a more fashionable. The Kensington, which means it's a fitted piece, has the collar like that.
It looks like a polished cotton in there. It looks like it has a sheen.
That's the check inside, you see.
Right.
What's that?
It looks like the lining has a sheen.
Yeah, it looks like it. No, it's actually just no. It looks like a sheen, but I think it's just normal cotton lining inside it. And this one, you see, you can wear like that. But you see the straps, see, this is what you do with making it fashionable this is how we do it in the windows, and then all the ladies were wearing it like this for the last 5 years. They push up this, and then you could tighten up the strap that holds it like that. Oh, that's number one, all right? And then number two is you can do it like this too, and then we get a lot of customers asking it. Looks like a different coat too. And we had it in the windows like that, where you reverse the buttons. Instead of doing it that way, you reverse this. Oops.
Or you say buttoning it onto itself on a double breast.
Yeah, you button it this way. So you button it to itself. It looks like a different coat and more fashionable. Then what you can do,
Wow.
you take this and you do the knot, but you don't do the coat up. You've seen it, Marcy, where they do this and then they wear that more this way. All right, instead of doing the raincoat right over. So you can wear it that way. But it looks completely different when you reverse it. You reverse the coat, it looks like a different coat. And again, you can put all these up and tighten these up. They'll give you a different look. And like I said, all the young girls were wearing it like that. That's how.
Very chic.
And guys too, of course. But you can.
Now, I remember in New York when I lived there in the 80s and 90s, business people had a trench.
Yeah.
And they would wear it all winter with the lining.
Yes.
You couldn't do that in Chicago, but they would.
It's too cold in Chicago. But that's why we made linings out of, shearling. We had linings, mink. We had linings at that time, not anymore because fur is not used anymore. Now it's more the wool lining or the cashmere lining, which you have.
Those are really great styling tricks.
What's that?
Those are really great styling tricks.
Yeah, just different tricks that you can do to make it like that. And then, like I said, it's a shorter raincoat. But and then when you send these coats to the cleaners, always put silver foil around the leather, so when they put it in the dries, it doesn't break the leather up, because you'll ruin this if it goes. And that's what I do.
I wouldn't send it with
our customers to do that to them,
keep
or
that belt at home.
don't send the belt.
Yeah.
Or don't send the straps or so on and so on. And these metal things, they all come right out. These are what we call D-rings. And they were made, again, for the military, and they hung all their different things they used that time onto these D-rings. So they kept it. And you have this back here. It's for rain, so when it rains, it comes off this. It doesn't go into your raincoat. It's like a back up there for the rain to go off. And
Ray, that's the poly cotton.
Yeah, this is the poly cotton. Yes, it's very, very tough fabric, this one. And that's where the rain could come off. But there's lots of things on here. I'll show you. And there's a strap always in the neck where you can do your neck all the way tight too. Another strap. But we'll go, that's all we have for now.
Ray, that's excellent. Well, I love you sharing those tips because, as much as we want to encourage people to be daring and try new things, I think people are reluctant to naturally, unless it's demonstrated to them by someone and gives them the confidence to try that. But I know a couple of people definitely who will be seeing this who will try that trick with the double-breasted, like buttoning it back. That's such a clever thing. And then after seeing it, I think someone trying that in real life would be pretty confident that they're going to pull it off and they'd feel great about it. So that's terrific. Ray, that's the reason why you're our number one guest.
I hope
You're our
not.
most popular guest.
Okay then.
But I want to thank Ray, and I want to invite everybody else to join us this evening at 6 o'clock Central Time for our regular Fashion Coffee Hour, when we will, of course, welcome Ray back, and we'll have time then for answers and questions. Well, maybe we'll have some answers and some questions. That's more likely, and time for interaction. And we look forward to seeing you, Ray, and everybody else again this evening at 6 o'clock Central Time.
Thanks,
guys.
Ray.
Bye.
Ray,
Bye bye.
bye-bye.